You wake up at 2 in the morning and your heart is pounding, not from a nightmare, not from a sound in the house, from nothing you can name, just this sudden overwhelming sense that something is wrong, that something terrible is coming, that you are not safe even though you are lying in your own bed with the doors locked and nothing threatening you at all. You try to calm yourself. You tell yourself it is just anxiety, just your mind playing tricks. But the feeling does not go away. It sits there in your chest, heavy and cold, and you lie awake for hours staring at the darkness, unable to shake the certainty that some catastrophe is waiting just around the corner. This is not the first time. It happens again and again. Sometimes it is the middle of the night. Sometimes it is in the middle of a normal day. You are driving to work and suddenly you are gripping the steering wheel so hard your knuckles turn white, convinced you are about to crash even though the road is clear. You are at a party and suddenly you need to leave, need to get out, need to escape this room full of people who seem fine while you feel like you are drowning. You are happy, or you should be happy. Everything in your life is going well, and then this feeling crashes over you like a wave, and you cannot breathe, cannot think, cannot do anything except wait for it to pass. And the worst part is you cannot explain it. You cannot point to anything and say, that is why I feel this way. There is no reason, no logic, just this primitive animal sense of danger that your rational mind knows is not real, but your body believes completely. You start to wonder if something is broken in you, if you are just wired wrong, if this is how your life is going to be from now on, constantly on edge, constantly braced for disaster, constantly exhausting yourself with vigilance against threats that never materialize. You read articles about anxiety. You try breathing exercises and meditation and all the things you are supposed to try. Sometimes they help a little, sometimes they do nothing at all. And underneath everything, there is a question you do not want to ask but cannot stop thinking about. Why do I feel like I want to die when nothing is actually wrong? Not suicidal exactly, though sometimes it edges close to that. Just this sense that it would be easier, simpler, better if you could just stop trying, stop fighting, stop existing. You do not talk about this feeling because it sounds crazy. It sounds dark and disturbing and like something a person who is seriously unwell would think, but it is there, and it does not go away just because you refuse to acknowledge it. It sits in the back of your mind like a shadow, whispering things you do not want to hear, telling you that all your striving is pointless, that everything you build will eventually crumble, that no matter how hard you work or how much you achieve, the ending is always the same. And maybe, just maybe, some part of you already knows this. Some part of you has already given up. Some part of you is pulling you toward the very thing you are most afraid of. I spent decades trying to understand this phenomenon. These patients who came to me with symptoms that made no sense from any rational perspective. People who were healthy but acted sick. People who were safe but felt in constant danger. People who had everything to live for but seemed drawn toward destruction. And what I discovered, what I eventually had to accept, even though it disturbed me profoundly, was that there is something in the human psyche that does not want what we think it wants, something that is not interested in pleasure or happiness or survival, something that operates according to a different logic entirely. I called it many things over the years as I tried to understand it: the compulsion to repeat, the negative therapeutic reaction, the resistance, but eventually, late in my career, I had to name it for what it truly was: the death drive, the instinct not toward life but toward its opposite. And this was the idea that frightened me more than any other, the idea that we are not simply creatures who want to live and fear death. We are creatures who contain within ourselves a fundamental ambivalence about existence itself, a part of us that seeks not growth but dissolution, not complexity but simplicity, not life but the peace that comes before life and after it, the peace of non-existence. This was the hidden instinct I feared to name, not because it was false, but because it was true, and acknowledging its truth meant accepting something about human nature that most people desperately want to deny: that we are not simply rational beings pursuing happiness. We are conflicted beings pulled in opposite directions by forces we barely understand, and one of those forces, operating quietly beneath the surface of consciousness, is pulling us toward our own ending, not dramatically, not obviously, but persistently, relentlessly, with a patience that can outlast all our conscious efforts to resist it. This is what I need to explain to you today, not because it is comfortable or reassuring, but because understanding this instinct, seeing how it operates in your life, is the only way to stop being controlled by it, the only way to live consciously rather than being lived by forces you do not recognize. And so we must go deep into this darkness together. We must look at what most people refuse to see, because what you do not know about yourself will control you. And this particular blind spot, this refusal to acknowledge the death drive, it shapes more of your life than you could possibly imagine. If these ideas are resonating with you, if you are beginning to see something in yourself that you have never wanted to look at directly, show your support with a like, because this is difficult territory we are entering, and knowing that others are making this journey with you, that makes all the difference. Let me pause here for a moment because I need to ask you something that matters. Have you ever felt like you are living two lives at once? The one everyone sees, where you smile and function and pretend everything is fine, and the one inside your head, where you are struggling, confused, doubting every choice you make. That split, that exhausting performance of being okay when you are not, it is something Freud understood deeply. And I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are human. And what you are feeling right now, this exact struggle you are carrying, someone else watching this video is feeling it too. They are sitting there thinking they are the only one, just like you might be thinking right now. So I'm going to ask you to do something that might feel vulnerable, but it is important. Go down to the comments right now and type this exact phrase. I feel this. Just those 3 words. I feel this. You do not need to explain. You do not need to write your whole story. Just let those words be your voice today, because when you do that, something powerful happens. The person scrolling through these comments, the one who feels completely alone in their pain, they are going to see your comment. And for the first time in maybe days, weeks, or months, they are going to realize they are not alone either. Your 3 words might be the thing that helps them breathe a little easier tonight. This is not just about engagement. This is about connection. This is about breaking the silence that keeps us isolated in our suffering. Freud built his entire life's work on one simple truth. We heal when we speak what has been hidden. So speak it now. Go to the comments. Type I feel this, and know that by doing so, you are not just helping yourself. You are helping every single person who needs to know that what they feel is real, is valid, and is shared. Do it now. I will wait. Let me take you back to how I first began to see this pattern. In my early work, I was focused on what I called the pleasure principle, the idea that human beings are motivated primarily by the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. This seemed obvious, self-evident. Look at any infant and you see it immediately. The baby cries when it is uncomfortable and stops crying when its needs are met. It seeks what feels good and rejects what feels bad. Simple, clear. And I built my entire early theory on this foundation. The id, that reservoir of unconscious drives, operates according to the pleasure principle. It wants what it wants without delay, without concern for reality or consequences, and the ego develops precisely to manage these desires, to mediate between what the id wants and what reality allows. This made sense. It explained a great deal of human behavior. But then I started noticing things that did not fit. Patients who seemed to resist getting better, who would make progress in treatment and then suddenly sabotage themselves, who would repeat the same painful patterns over and over even when they consciously wanted to change. A woman who kept choosing men who treated her badly. A man who succeeded brilliantly in his career until the moment of his greatest triumph, at which point he would destroy everything he had built. People who seemed compelled to recreate their traumas, to seek out situations that hurt them, to arrange their lives in ways that guaranteed suffering. At first I tried to explain this through the existing theory. I said they were masochistic, that they had learned to associate pain with pleasure, that their superego was punishing them for forbidden desires. But these explanations felt inadequate. They did not capture the full force of what I was seeing. Because what I was seeing was not just a preference for pain over pleasure, it was something more fundamental. A drive that seemed to operate independently of pleasure entirely. A drive toward repetition, toward dissolution, toward the undoing of everything that life builds up. And then came the war, the first great war, and with it a phenomenon that forced me to reconsider everything. Soldiers returning from the front with what we now call post-traumatic stress disorder. Men who had survived horrific experiences and who could not stop reliving them. Night after night, they would have the same nightmares, the same explosions, the same deaths, the same terror, over and over, their minds forcing them to re-experience the very things that had traumatized them most. Why? If the pleasure principle was the governing force of the psyche, why would the mind recreate pain? Why would it compel someone to return again and again to the moment of their greatest suffering? It made no sense, unless there was something else at work, something that was not seeking pleasure at all. This is when I began to formulate the concept of the death drive, and I must tell you, I struggled with this idea. I revised it, I questioned it, I presented it tentatively, knowing how disturbing it would seem, because what I was proposing was that alongside the life drives, the sexual and self-preservative instincts that push us toward growth and connection and survival, there exists an opposite force, a drive toward the reduction of tension, toward stasis, toward the inorganic state that preceded life and that waits at the end of it, a drive toward death, not death as a dramatic event, as suicide or violence, but death as a principle, as a gravitational pull toward simplicity, toward rest, toward the absence of need and desire and struggle, the drive to return to a state where nothing is wanted, because there is no one there to want it. Think about what happens when you are exhausted, truly, deeply exhausted, not just tired from a long day, but exhausted from living, from the constant effort of maintaining yourself, of meeting demands, of navigating relationships, of managing your body and your emotions and your responsibilities. In those moments, what do you want more than anything? You want to stop. You want everything to be quiet. You want to not have to try anymore. You fantasize about sleep that does not end, about a vacation that lasts forever, about disappearing to a place where no one needs anything from you because no one knows you exist. This is not suicidal ideation. This is the death drive speaking. This is that part of you that is tired of the effort life requires and that longs for the peace of non-being. Or think about addiction, about the person who drinks, even though they know it is destroying their health, their relationships, their career, about the person who uses drugs even though they have almost died multiple times, about the person who engages in any behavior that is clearly, obviously self-destructive and yet cannot stop. We talk about this as if it is a failure of willpower, as if the person just needs to try harder, to want sobriety more, to care about their life enough to change. But what if something in them does not want to change? What if something in them is seeking exactly what the addiction provides? Not pleasure, because at a certain point the addiction stops being pleasurable, but oblivion, the temporary erasure of self, the reduction of consciousness to a single simple state, the death drive finding an outlet that is socially condemned but psychologically satisfying in a way that life itself, with all its complexity and demands, can never be. Or think about the compulsion to repeat, the way you find yourself in the same situations over and over, the same kind of relationship that ends the same way, the same conflict with the same dynamic, the same feelings of betrayal or abandonment or inadequacy. You swear you will not do it again. You see the pattern clearly. You understand intellectually exactly what you need to change. And yet when the opportunity arises, you make the same choice. You end up in the same place. Why? Because some part of you is trying to master the original trauma by recreating it, trying to get it right this time, trying to change the ending. But there is something else happening too. The repetition itself is satisfying in a way that has nothing to do with resolution or healing. It is familiar. It is known. It reduces the anxiety of the unknown, and in that reduction, in that return to the familiar, even when the familiar is painful, the death drive finds expression, because what the death drive seeks is not novelty or growth or change. It seeks sameness. It seeks the eternal return to what has already been. It seeks to close the circle rather than open new possibilities. I know this is difficult to accept. I know it sounds pessimistic, even nihilistic, but understanding the death drive is not about embracing death or giving up on life. It is about seeing the full picture of human motivation, about recognizing that we are not simple creatures with simple desires. We are battlegrounds. We contain within ourselves opposing forces, and much of our suffering comes from the conflict between them. The life drives push us toward connection, creativity, growth, pleasure, meaning. The death drive pulls us toward isolation, destruction, stasis, numbness, emptiness, and every day, in ways large and small, we are choosing which force to serve. The problem is that most of this choosing happens unconsciously. We do not realize we are making a choice. We just feel the pull and we follow it, assuming it must be leading us somewhere good, because why else would we feel it? You already know this, but we're not ready to understand ourselves alone. The human mind is vast, complex, and often frightening to explore without guidance. If this content is helping you see yourself more clearly, if these insights about Freud's work are bringing light to parts of yourself you've kept hidden, then consider subscribing to this channel. This is not just another psychology channel. This is a space where we explore the depths of human nature together, where we take the most profound concepts from psychoanalysis and make them accessible, practical, and deeply personal. Every video here is designed to help you understand not just theory, but yourself, your patterns, your fears, your desires, the invisible forces that have been shaping your choices without your awareness. When you subscribe, you are making a commitment to yourself. You are saying that you are ready to look deeper, to understand more, to stop running from the truth of who you are. And I promise you this, I will be here every week bringing you insights that matter, explanations that actually make sense, and perspectives that can genuinely change how you see yourself and the world around you. This journey of self-understanding is not easy. Freud knew this. He spent his entire life mapping the human psyche precisely because he understood how lost we can feel inside our own minds. But you do not have to walk this path alone. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Become part of a community of people who have decided that understanding themselves is worth the discomfort, worth the effort, worth the time. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. And that relationship deserves your attention, your curiosity, and your courage. So subscribe now, and let's continue this exploration together. Your future self will thank you for taking this step today. But here is what you need to understand. The death drive does not announce itself. It does not say, "Hello, I am here to pull you toward dissolution and non-existence." It disguises itself. It presents itself as something else, as laziness, as depression, as a reasonable desire for rest, as a justified anger that needs to be expressed through destruction, as a philosophical stance that life is meaningless, so why bother, as cynicism about change or growth or the possibility of things being different, as a conviction that you are fundamentally broken in a way that cannot be fixed. So the best you can do is manage your brokenness rather than transcend it. All of these thoughts and feelings, they seem like they are coming from your rational mind, from your assessment of reality, but often they are coming from somewhere else. From that part of you that is tired of trying, that wants the struggle to end, that has already half surrendered to the inevitability of death, and is just waiting for the rest of you to catch up. Let me give you examples of how the death drive operates in everyday life. You have a goal you care about, something you genuinely want to achieve, and you make a plan. You start taking action. You are making progress. And then, right when you are on the verge of success, you sabotage yourself. You miss the crucial meeting. You pick a fight with the person who could help you. You procrastinate on the final step until the opportunity passes, and you feel terrible about it. You blame yourself. You call yourself lazy or scared or self-destructive. But what if it was not any of those things? What if it was the death drive, pulling you back toward the familiar state of wanting rather than having, of striving rather than achieving, of incompleteness rather than completion? Because completion means change, means entering unknown territory, means taking on new responsibilities and new challenges. And some part of you does not want that. Some part of you wants to stay exactly where you are, in the known struggle, in the comfortable discomfort, in the repetition of the same patterns that have defined your entire life. Or consider your relationships. You meet someone who is genuinely good for you, someone who treats you well, who sees you clearly, who offers the kind of love you have always said you wanted. And instead of relief, instead of joy, you feel anxious. You start looking for flaws. You start creating problems where none exist. You push them away, or you withdraw, or you sabotage the connection before it can deepen. Why? Because some part of you does not trust good things. Some part of you is more comfortable with pain than with pleasure. Because pain is what you know. Pain is familiar. And the death drive, remember, seeks familiarity, seeks repetition, seeks the reduction of the anxiety that comes with change. So it pulls you back toward the kind of relationship you have always had, the kind that hurts you in ways you understand, the kind that confirms your existing beliefs about yourself and about what you deserve, the kind that keeps you stuck rather than helping you grow. Or think about your daily habits. The way you scroll through your phone for hours even though it makes you feel worse. The way you eat foods that you know will make you sick. The way you stay up too late even though you need sleep. The way you avoid exercise even though you know it would help. The way you isolate yourself even though you are lonely. The way you say yes to things you do not want to do and no to things you do want. Each of these small choices might seem insignificant, but together they add up to a pattern of self-neglect, of self-harm, of slow but steady self-destruction. And if you look honestly at this pattern, if you ask yourself why you keep making choices that hurt you, you might not find a good answer. You might just find a kind of inertia, a pull toward the path of least resistance, a preference for what is easy in the moment, even though it makes everything harder in the long run. This is the death drive in its most mundane form. Not dramatic, not obvious, just a quiet, persistent pull away from life and toward its absence. Now here is the crucial question. If the death drive is real, if it is operating in all of us, what do we do about it? How do we live knowing that part of us does not want to live? The answer is not to try to eliminate the death drive. You cannot. It is fundamental to the structure of the psyche. It is not going anywhere. The answer is to recognize it, to see it operating, to catch yourself in the act of choosing death over life, stasis over growth, repetition over novelty. And in that moment of recognition, to make a different choice. Not because it feels good. Often it will not feel good. It will feel uncomfortable, anxiety-provoking, effortful, but because it aligns with the part of you that actually wants to be alive, that wants to grow and change and experience and create and connect, the part of you that is tired of being pulled backward into the same old patterns. This requires what I called the reality principle, the ability to delay gratification, to tolerate discomfort, to act in accordance with long-term goals rather than immediate impulses. The ego, when it is strong and functional, operates according to this principle. It says, I know you want to stay in bed, but we are getting up because we have things to do. I know you want to eat the entire cake, but we are stopping at one piece because we care about our health. I know you want to pick a fight right now, but we are going to wait until we calm down and then have a real conversation. I know you want to quit, but we are going to keep trying because this matters to us. This is the ego asserting itself against the pull of the death drive. This is consciousness choosing life over the drift toward non-existence. But it is hard. It is so hard because the death drive is patient. It does not give up. It waits for moments of weakness, of exhaustion, of despair, and then it whispers its seductive message. Why bother? What is the point? Would it not be easier to just stop trying? And if you do not recognize this voice for what it is, if you think it is your own rational assessment of the situation, you will listen. You will surrender. You will let yourself drift back into the patterns that feel safe because they are known, even though they are slowly killing you. So you must learn to hear that voice and name it. That is not me. That is not what I actually want. That is the death drive speaking, and I am going to choose differently. I am going to choose life, even though it is harder, even though it is scarier, even though it requires effort and courage and the willingness to fail and try again. I am going to choose life because life is the only chance I have to be anything, to do anything, to matter at all. Let me tell you what I have observed in those who successfully navigate this conflict. They do not deny the death drive. They do not pretend it is not there. They acknowledge it. They feel the pull toward giving up, toward staying stuck, toward repeating the same patterns. They feel the exhaustion, the despair, the sense that nothing matters. They feel all of it, and then they choose anyway. They get up anyway. They try anyway. They love anyway. They create anyway. Not because they feel like it, not because it is easy, but because the alternative is to let the death drive win. And they have decided that is not how their story ends. This is what it means to be truly alive, not to be free of the death drive, but to live in full awareness of it, and to choose life anyway, to feel the gravitational pull of dissolution and to resist it, to build knowing that what you build will eventually fall, to love knowing that everything you love will eventually be lost, to strive knowing that you will ultimately fail, that time will erase everything you accomplish, that death waits at the end of every road. To know all of this, and to choose to build and love and strive anyway, that is the human condition at its most courageous. Share this video with someone who is struggling right now, someone who is feeling that pull toward giving up, toward staying stuck, toward letting the death drive determine their fate. They need to know what is happening. They need to understand that what they are feeling is not weakness or failure, but a fundamental aspect of human psychology that everyone faces. They need to know that recognizing it is the first step toward resisting it. And they need to know that they do not have to do this alone, that there are others who understand this struggle because they are living it too, that we are all navigating the same conflict between the drive toward life and the drive toward death. And that sharing this knowledge, making it conscious, saying it out loud, that is how we help each other keep choosing life even when every cell in our bodies wants to surrender to the peace of non-existence. So here is my final question for you. Where in your life right now is the death drive operating? Where are you choosing stasis over growth? Where are you repeating patterns that hurt you? Where are you sabotaging your own success? Where are you refusing to change even though you know change is necessary? Where are you slowly, quietly, incrementally giving up on yourself? Look at these places honestly. Do not judge yourself for them. Do not shame yourself. Just see them, name them, understand what is happening. And then ask yourself this: is this what I actually want? Is this who I actually want to be? Or is this the death drive speaking, pulling me back into the familiar comfort of my own diminishment? And if it is the death drive, if you can see it clearly now, then you have a choice. You can keep following that pull. You can keep choosing the familiar over the possible. You can keep letting the fear of change determine your fate. Or you can choose differently. You can choose life. Not the idea of life, not the fantasy of some perfect future where everything is easy, but life as it actually is, difficult and uncertain and full of pain, but also full of possibility, full of moments where you get to decide who you are and what you stand for, full of opportunities to surprise yourself with your own courage, full of the chance to matter, to make a mark, to be something other than a passive victim of forces you do not understand. That life is waiting for you. It has always been waiting. The only question is whether you are ready to claim it, whether you are ready to see the death drive for what it is, and to stop letting it make your choices for you, whether you are ready to be fully, consciously, courageously alive. That is the choice you face right now in this moment, and that choice, more than anything else, will determine the shape of your entire life. So choose carefully, choose consciously, and choose life, because you only get one, and the death drive is counting on you to waste it.